Dennis Allen's post-game speech in the Saints locker room after the win versus the Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the New Orleans Saints official YouTube channel. This is post-week 1 win immediately after in the brand new renovated locker room at the Caesars Superdome. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Allen got to be feeling good. I'm certainly feeling good. I hope you are all feeling good after that big win. It's also important to note a lot of people have been on Gayle Benson for being a absent owner. The Superdome received like $700 million worth of upgrades, something like that. Obviously, it's because the Super Bowl is coming this year to New Orleans. But I can tell you this, from being in the Dome on Sunday, it's pretty nice. Okay, it's looking really good. I mean, the Dome has 2 years ago, because they did some renovations last season as well, before last season. But 2 years ago, it was pretty old. I mean, like the concourse, walking around the concession area, it was very 1990s vibe. It was very like concrete, gray, very old. Bathrooms, the concession, the concourse, the stairs, escalators, everything was old school. Not the case anymore. Very modernized, very, very nice in there. The food, good news. They brought back chicken tenders. Last year, did not have chicken tenders. Crazy. Didn't have chicken tenders at all. Had some wild food options. This year, it is back. So, solid. If you're going to go to the Superdome, this is a good year to do it because they are certainly putting a ton of money into renovations. So, after the big win, I want to hear, we did this last year. It's always good to hear how Dennis talks to the team. Because now, granted, this is a 2-minute clip. This is from the Saints channel, so it's not going to be, they're not going to show you anything you don't want to see. It's not like we're seeing an uncut, unedited version of this, and that's okay. I mean, some of the stuff should be between the coach and the team, but it's always interesting to hear kind of the narrative, kind of like the bits, kind of what Allen is imparting onto his team, because as a head coach, his job is, if he is the one addressing the team, which he obviously is, his job is to manage these guys as players, as humans, and try and get the most out of them, motivate them. And so how's he do it? What's he say? What's he hit on? Last year we heard a lot of us versus them, outside noise, a lot of that. And it had more of a negative connotation to it. So let's see what Dennis has to say to the squad in the newly renovated locker room.
Look, I saw it in training camp, okay? I saw it the last couple of weeks offensively. I saw this group coming together. You with me?
Okay, good start, right? Good start is, what's the narrative we have so far? Is I know you could do it. The narrative right now is I saw it, I believe it. If I believe it, you should believe it. Okay, this is much more of a positive spin than last year.
And it takes us believing in each other. That's what it's all about. Look, this is what Saints football is gonna be about, okay? Hear me out, okay? On third down, we were 7 of 13. Now this is with 2 minutes to go in the game. We were 7 of 13, they were 1 of 9. Okay, we had 379 yards, they had 191. We ran the ball for 180 yards, they had 56.
Yes. Dominant. I mean, as dominant of a performance as you can possibly get. And you talk about really eliminate a lot of questions. Like, it's crazy to think, and it really goes to show you just how the NFL is changing, because the Saints have had a really hard time running the football the last couple of years. I mean, you look at Alvin Kamara alone, average like 3.7, 3.5, 3.8, whatever. And it's easy to just look at it and say, well, if we can't run the football, it must be our offensive line. In a lot of cases, sure, like having a really good offensive line is going to help you run the football. But in today's NFL, you really do have to factor in the scheme a whole hell of a lot. You really do have to factor in how players are being utilized. Everything is so specific. It's not just line up your offensive line against their defensive line, run the ball at the middle, and big man wins. That's not it anymore. That's just not it. So is it one game? Absolutely. And is it the Panthers? Absolutely. But that's also an interesting tidbit, because yes, it's the Panthers, but 48 hours ago, a whole lot of people had the Panthers better than the Saints. Colin Cowherd.
The NFC South, Atlanta and Carolina are undoubtedly better teams. No question, the Falcons and the Panthers are much better teams.
A whole lot of people had the Saints as the lowest scoring team in the NFL. A whole lot of people had the Saints as last in the division. A whole lot of people had the Saints as the worst team in the NFL. A whole lot of people had the Saints as possibly the first overall pick. Okay? So yeah, it's easy to say it now when you see the two teams on the field, but we were never ever 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 in the conversation with the Panthers, with the Patriots, with the Broncos, with the Raiders, with the Giants, and a host of other teams. We were never in that conversation. We were never supposed to be in the conversation, are we the 27th team in the NFL, the 28th team in the NFL, the 29th team in the NFL? Never should have been in that conversation. And the narrative got out of control all offseason. So, yeah, it's easy to say it now, but I sure did have to sift through a whole lot of respected people tell me how Bryce Young was going to take a step, how Canales is a quarterback whisperer, how the Panthers have a better offensive line, how they have a great defense. Kurt Benkert said the Panthers had a top 5 defense. Top 5. So if we hung 50 or 47 on a top 5 defense, pretty sporty, right? So when you hear all these people say, well, it's the Panthers, of course. Of course, it's the Panthers. Of course you're going to do this. Don't worry about it. We crossed the first big hurdle. The first big hurdle is the Saints separating themselves from the bottom of the NFL and eliminating that narrative, eliminating that thread. Does that mean the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl? No. Does that mean we're going to win 12, 13 games? No. Does that mean we're going to win the NFC? No. But it means that what we said all offseason, that the Saints are way closer to the 14th, 15th, 16th team in the NFL, we're way closer to that than we are to the 30th or the 29th or the 31st or the 28th. All right, so yes, it was just the Panthers. And it's so funny, too. I've been seeing a ton of Panthers fans and reporters, whatever, saying like, well, maybe Bryce Young just ain't it. And it's crazy how he had his whole rookie season, which we documented was the 3rd worst rookie season in NFL history, only behind Josh Rosen and David Carr. He had that for a whole season. And people were still like, well, I don't know, maybe he'll take a step. And it took them 4 quarters in this game to see like, okay, maybe he doesn't have it. Even though that evidence was there all last season. It's wild how it takes people something like this before they can see through the smoke, even though they had 17 games of evidence last year.
Okay. We had 4 sacks. They had none.
And those 4 sacks should have been a whole lot more because Chase Young was insane. Chase Young didn't have a sack. I don't know if he had a tackle. He was nuts in this game. I posted some videos on Twitter about it. Oh, my God. You talk about disruptive. You talk about impactful. He might have had one of the greatest games with one of the worst box scores I've ever seen. Because the box score is just like 0, 0, 0, 0. You know, he might have had like a couple quarterback hurries on the box score, but unreal from Chase Young.
And we had 3 takeaways, all right? And they had 1, all right? So, but that's what our team has to be.
Yeah.
Okay? We play fairly smart. What do we got to clean up?
Yeah, we do have to clean up the penalties. I think we had 10 penalties. The Cedric Wilson fumble was really bad. It's always hard to, you know, when it's 47-10, it's hard to be like, well, we were kind of soft in coverage. Like, whatever. But yeah, we do have to clean some stuff up. It wasn't a perfect game, certainly not from the penalty standpoint.
Penalties, way too many.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Yeah.
All right? And some of them are things that we got total control over. You with me?
Yeah, the Peyton Turner penalty was crazy. That was a really bad one. Game's already out of hand there. We have all the momentum Adam Thielen gets stood up and Turner comes in helmet to helmet, just absolutely, a dirty, dirty play. No reason to do that. Look at Kubiak right in the middle. What a king.
So we got to clean up the penalties, because that, all right, in a tighter game is going to be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We played tough.
Did.
Okay?
Yes.
We played physical.
Yep.
That's the way the Saints are going to play.
Very physical. Even like the interior, especially. Jamal Williams was running super, super hard. I'll give him that. He's behind me right now. He's back here. He is, I said in the preseason, he is running hard and he looks good. I know he only had like 4 yards of carry, but he is so physical. And I really liked watching him run today. Good change of pace from Kamara. But our lines, whether it was offensive line or defensive line, were very physical. The offensive line, Trevor Penning, when they got him out pulling and when they got him out on the screens, and I've seen a lot of people say like, well, yeah, Trevor Penning is good when you get him out there running and he gets to block a defensive back. And it's like, well, that's not by accident, my boy. That's not by accident. And that's the point. The point is that this scheme is getting the players in where they can succeed. That includes Alvin Kamara, but that also includes Trevor Penning. That also includes Talise Fuaga. That also includes our offensive line. Getting our offensive line into positions that they can succeed in, whether it's running a toss to Trevor Penning's side and having him pull, that is why this system is so good. Is because even the offensive linemen, even down to the guards, even down to the tackle, it's like, okay, we're running this screen to the right. Should we run it to the right or to the left? What's the design? Well, let's run it to the right because then we can get Trevor pulling into helping out to block for the screen, and that's where he's good. Like, even those small little things, you have to factor that in. It's not an accident. And that's why I love the system. And that's what we preached all off season.
All right? And guys, you competed your ass off for 60 freaking minutes. And when you do that with the talent that we have in the room, okay, we got a chance to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
All right? But that's one. Okay? That's one. One doesn't mean anything.
It does not.
One just means we got to come back in on Monday, all right, make the corrections that we have to get made, make sure we're taking care of our bodies and get our bodies back right, okay, so that we can go down to Dallas, okay, and then we start working on number 2. Yes, and that's the only one that we can control right now. Yes, that was a hell of a job today. Congratulations, man. Good job.
Really good stuff from Dennis right there. Dennis could have easily, like I said, turned this very negative. I was not a fan last year of how Dennis kind of built up this like outside noise, us versus them, because it made this weird rivalry between the Saints and the city, where he kept saying like, they hate you, they're saying this, but we do this in here. It's only us, like us against, and that I didn't like where that came from. He could have easily started this off with, they all said you suck. They all said you're the worst team in the NFL. They all said this. They all said that. But he didn't do that. Dennis preached believe in yourselves. He preached that this team can be pretty damn good. He didn't say this team can win a Super Bowl. He didn't say this team can do it. He said we can be pretty damn good. He preached physicality, toughness, and competing. And when you're up 47-10 in the first game of the year like that, and the game is over early, this game was over very fast, it is hard to stay locked in, for sure. And the Saints did. The Saints did not ease up. At the end of the game, they were hitting and running around just like they were at the beginning of the game. The starters weren't in, but the effort was absolutely there. Absolutely there the entire game. And I also like how Dennis, it is 47-10. It's always difficult to, you don't want to get too high on your horse. You want to celebrate. You want to be congratulate the team, be happy for the win, but it is one. And this doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. It answers a lot of questions, but it's a game we were supposed to win. It's a game we were expected to win. And it's a game we should have won. And it's a game we did win. So cool, mission accomplished. But yeah, now you got Dallas. Then you got Philly. Then you got Kansas City. Then you got Atlanta. Like, there's a lot more we got to do. You win this game, you lose your next 5, you're 1-6. No one cares about 47-10, right? You win this game, you win 6 games the rest of the year, you finish 7-10. All this positivity we're talking about now doesn't exist. So I like that Dennis kind of refocused them at the end there and said, yeah, let's focus on Dallas because they should focus on Dallas because big game. You know, a lot of momentum right now for the Saints. Dallas has a ton of momentum now that Prescott got his contract, CeeDee Lamb got his contract. They went and absolutely dog-walked Cleveland on the road. You know, so Dallas, but I like how we match up against Dallas. If Marshawn Lattimore is healthy, he was apparently he's fine. I think he said in the post game, he said that he's fine. It's just a little tweak. And why take a chance? You know, if he thinks he tweaks his hamstring, take him out of this game for sure. But, and I'll obviously cover the Dallas game a ton this week. But I think we match up well with them. You know, their offense is very one-dimensional with CeeDee Lamb. The fact that we have, I would argue, the best secondary in the NFL, or at least one of the best 3-ish secondaries in the NFL. The fact that we probably could stop what they want to do. And if they beat us with Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle, then okay, fine, right? And you know, so I'm not saying we're going to go into Dallas and win, but I'm not saying we can't. I'm certainly not saying that we can't. And it's going to be one hell of a game. And if we do go in there and win, oh my God! I mean, think about the narrative shift then. It's one thing to beat the Panthers, no doubt. But imagine if we go smoke Dallas. Whew. Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, SpeakPipe, my SpeakPipe page is open. Go drop a voice message in there. I believe they are capped at 90 seconds. So go drop a voice message in there. Let me know what you thought about the win, how you're feeling. I'll react to those throughout the week. Thank you very much for watching this video. Oh, well, let's see if there's anything at the end here.
Let's keep going. Hey, family on me, family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
1, 2, 3 family, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a couple families in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.